Hello and welcome back to this Massey Ferguson tractor. Already done looking over of a few things, and the parts that I have are not really much. And some of the parts that are new don't really need to be changed, but okay. So I took off the top radiator hose, then I unbolted the thermostat housing, and lo and behold, no thermostat. It's all really crusty in there, so I'm going to remove this piece here. And then this one here is also not looking so good, so if I remove that hose, I wonder what the inside of the water pump housing looks like. May have to tackle that as well and clean that all out, because I was seeing as it's all apart in any case, might as well take the opportunity to do it once and for all properly. So got to remove that. The temperature sensor, got to remove that and clean that off. And then one way before putting it back in to test that is to put it in some boiling water, connect up the gauge and see what happens. So that bottom hose doesn't look too bad. I think that has been replaced. The little hose that comes from there and then behind to here was also not so old. It was a spare X part. So it's all of these bolts here, size 13, because this tractor is made in France, so it should all be metric. And then we can take that off, have a look, and then maybe the water pump does also have a grease fitting. Most likely it will be dry or very crusty greased, so might as well take that apart. Then I think there's also a mystery hose. It says air cleaner hose, but it's way too long and it doesn't seem to be for that. As I say, this needs replacing because that's no good. There is a hose from here to there, but some sort of cheap version. It's not the correct setting, but it should work. Got to check if the filter is complete. So just a little bit of progress, and luckily I've seen gaskets are cheap enough. Prices are a lot more affordable than what they were for my little Kubota tractor. But anyway, once that's off, we'll have a look inside. Okay, all the bolts have been removed. It should come off. All the bolts are loose. I think it needs a bit more gentle persuasion. Right, the gentle persuasion tool has arrived. That is looking absolutely lovely. I have to try and flush that all out. Clean this part off. It was the same with my Kubota, also looked quite bad like this. Just after continuous flushing, managed to get it quite clean. Right, now to remove the low radiator hose, just undo that hose clamp. Little bit more progress. Remove the hose. It's all rusty in there as well, so remove the 4 bolts for the fan. Then there's a single nut and a washer, and this whole hub slides off. This here is also nice and greasy. There is a grease fitting here, so it's quite normal, but it is all dirty, so we'll clean that all off. Now I've got good access to these bolts here, as well as for this water pump housing. So that's just a couple of bolts and it should come off. So the water pump housing is off. Came off really easily. There is still water in there. I have to see if I can find the block drain, drain it all out, flush it out, clean it off, order new parts, put it back together. Not necessarily all in that order, but it's a start. All right.